What's up guys, it's me new with finallyanime.com again, and of course I have a new video I finally decided to do, fighting games, 10 steps on how to get better at fighting games if you're new, don't really know what you're doing, or maybe you've dabbled a little bit in the past but want to get more serious, I got you. Anyways, this applies to any and all fighting games, so don't worry about the source material, which is going to be in the video, Skullgirls, which is actually a really great game. It applies to any and all games. So, alright, let's get to it. Oh, almost forgot. I just want to say in advance, thank you so much for watching the video, and make sure you like and comment. Now, it's not for me and my ego, it's actually for all the other new players out there and for the fighting game community. When you help like the video, it helps raise it in the rankings so people can see it. Do that and hook it up. Alright, thanks guys. Enough of that, let's get to the video. Chunking and repetition. Now, although debatable, fighting games aren't too different from sports in that they require practice and repetition, which is typically the first step towards getting better. Just like how a star player internalizes the muscle memory of a jump shot, free throw, or dunk, alternatively, the same thing must be done, except replaced by things like mid-screen, corner, and grab combos. Now, chunking is where you break down a large sequence into bite-sized pieces, like doing the ground part first, then aerial section second, and so forth. Pace yourself and you'll get things down in no time. So just like you might memorize a phone number at 3 numbers at a time, the same thing.
Could I have it? Could I have it? Can I please receive the secret code that if entered telephonically, it will patch me through to you, which means it'll be your beautiful ass number?
You have to do combos the exact same way, and make sure you don't bite more than you can chew, or else it'll seem like it'll take forever to get the combo down. Now, despite being fairly good myself, the number one thing that holds me back is screwing up inputs at vital moments under pressure, and it sucks. So when you finally get that combo down, do not leave and jump online. I repeat, do not leave and jump online. If you can get the combo down a solid 4 to 8 reps flawlessly, then you're set to move on. So in short, get some simple combos down, make sure you can execute them, and then get online and then hook it up. Situational practice. Time and time again, I see on forums and the Steam hubs the same thing. Yo man, I learned this like huge combo takes away like half health. No meter, man, like it's super cool, man, like the swag, man, but I don't know how to actually like get in and do it. They won't let me do it. This is something everyone has to learn, and for the most part it'll take some losing and experimentation online, but it's okay, just stick with it. Now, in Skullgirls universe, for the most part, jump-ins are the best way to start a combo, and since the jump-in and first chain of your combo don't set off IPS, aka Infinite Protection System, it's a no-brainer. In other games like Blazblue, for example, jump-ins are still a huge way of initiating an attack, and it helps a lot. Remember, when practicing, try to have a goal of learning at least one important thing when you're finished. Working on similar things in a session helps to do this. So for instance, if you're learning how to instantly air dash effectively, don't just move on to throwing after you feel you have it down. Focus on resets using this technique along with combos that include it. You'll learn it much faster that way, and it'll stick in your head much easier. It's no different than learning addition and subtraction together since they're similar. Now say you wouldn't go from addition to division now, would you? It's the same thing. Friends. You are the company you keep. So if you like practicing against people who aren't really as good as you, you just like to beat up on them, kind of have a good time, feel good inside, the same will happen to you later on when you go and fight other people. Combo breaker! It's different if you're helping someone get better. That's completely different. But if you fight against people who are as good, if not better than you, then you're going to notice even if you don't start winning, you're going to be playing much better, and you will start to eventually win because you'll be so used to fighting against superior tactics that when an opponent does something wrong or uses inferior methods, you'll be absolutely ready to capitalize on it. And to be honest, I feel this is probably the single biggest tip I can give if I can only pick one. When online and you fight someone really tough a couple times, both of you are winning, losing equally against each other, and you're getting a good vibe from them, add them. I like to call these people rivals. When playing Blazblue, I had a lot of rivals and they were all really good friends. The same thing goes in Skullgirls. Having someone to fight and get better with makes the journey much easier, feel much faster, and honestly, it's just way more fun that way. So make sure you go and add some people. You will suck. It's a fact of life, you will lose in fighting games. No matter how good you've been at another fighting game, you will lose.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And probably lose a lot in the beginning. It's sort of a rite of passage, albeit a really messed up one when you look at it, but something required to grow. If you find you're losing more than usual, maybe it's time to go into training mode and learn some new techniques. Learn some new tricks, throw combos, or maybe a better way to use your meter. When you feel like you've significantly improved and are beating people who used to constantly beat you, it's known as leveling up.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right!
Sometimes you'll be doing a lot of that. If you're losing, then really think, is it because I'm making stupid mistakes? Am I messing up inputs? Or are they just beating me flat out? If it's the last one, then training mode's probably the best place to go every once in a while. Metagame. Knowing the tendencies of gameplay is known as metagame. The things that fuel people's decisions and everything around the mental aspect of the game. Some people call it mind games, but I just like to call it meta. So for example, in Skullgirls, the people who typically play Philia, the rushdown character, are often a bit more impulsive than the other characters, and are prone to mashing their super when things get hairy. If you take that into account, you can trick them into doing exactly what you want them to do and then making them pay for it. That's known as baiting. So for example, if you know most Philias like to frequently air dash at you while in the corner, do something to exploit it, like super. You don't do it all the time so you don't get predictable and they can't bait your bait, but you do it enough so that the opponent has to respect your space and doesn't feel like they can do all the stuff that they normally get away with. Use mix-ups, and when you get enough mix-ups, mix up your mix-ups to really confuse people. Learn what characteristics certain characters have, what they tend to do, and then counter them. And with even higher level play, learn what your character typically does, and then do the opposite of that to really confuse people. Write it down. This might not apply to everyone, but it does for me since I like to post information on forums and in videos. Write things down. When in training mode, sometimes I come across the most coolest, stupidest, weirdest things on accident, and it's freaking sweet. But I always make sure to write it down so I have it for later, and I can expand on it in the future if it probably leads to something. Writing down a combo helps, and writing down tech or things you only learn from playing with a character for a while also help too. But don't get good information and keep it to yourself. Unless it's something you just greedily want to keep and have as a secret, share it so other players don't have to spend hours learning something you probably already know. I share things because I want other players to know, and also it helps other players join in the discussion when otherwise they might not have. I'm going to expand on this in a later step, but just know that if you have information, at least write it down, even if it's just for yourself. Test on everyone. Due to different hitboxes and character sizes and weight, many times certain combos have to be adjusted to work on certain characters, and some combos just won't work at all. In order to really be really good, you have to work on combos with everyone, and you'll do well. Don't get excited if you learn an epic combo just yet. Test on everyone and then make changes accordingly. Comprehension. Doing an incredibly long combo is great and all, but if you don't even know why you're doing certain moves as opposed to some other ones, then it really won't help you get better. You're just going through the motions and doing what everyone else is doing. And it's fine to do that at first, don't get me wrong, but sooner or later you're gonna have to understand why you're doing certain moves as opposed to others. As a typical rule of thumb in fighting games, if you start a combo with a light attack, multi-hit attack, or throw, then the rest of the combo might scale a lot in damage. And scaling is basically when later attacks start doing less and less damage than they typically would. If you start a combo with a light attack, it's fine because for the most part they're the fastest and best way to get in. But if you can help it, try to optimize your combos. Optimizing is basically fitting every little punch or kick you can in order to maximize damage. Mind you, sometimes it's better to do a shorter combo with easier execution and just a tad less damage than a really long combo that's hard to do and just marginally better, and worse, can drop at a moment's notice and lag. The internet, good and bad. The internet is definitely good, but it can really hurt sometimes with the overwhelming amount of information and no help to truly comprehend things. Sometimes information can just plain be outdated. Unfortunately, all I can really say here is to scour the net for everything you can find and try to compare things for yourself. People who know what they're talking about have a pretty good way of portraying that they do, so pay attention to those people and go to notable forums and get acquainted with the people there. What I've noticed, at least in my experience, is if you give something useful to the community, you'll often get something just as useful back. I started a squiggly thread on every little thing I found out about my character a bit ago, and from that thread I've built my entire game around the tips other people have given me, not even my own. And so that really means a lot. Don't lurk, at least say thank you and post more later, it really helps. Frustration.
Somebody said, I gotta get salty. Salt becomes an empowerment. It's the thing that makes you powerful. Oh God, it's the thing that makes you unstoppable.
You will get frustrated and you will lose at the most ridiculous times. Times when button presses aren't happening like they should. Perhaps the game's lagging, or maybe your mom's talking to you about lingerie. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just one of those days. You're gonna get salty. You're gonna get hella salty. And to keep from getting overly salty, there's 3 things you can do. Now, these aren't the most magicalist, most unicorn of answers, but they are things that most people do. 1. Keep playing and beat up other people to make yourself feel better, which actually helps a lot. 2. Take a break and just quit for a little bit. Or 3. Go to training mode and deal with your frustration on the dummy and learn new things too. Now remember guys, you don't have to be salty forever. It will come. And you know what? It's actually a good thing because it tells you that you can get better and you can conquer these idiots who are beating you and they shouldn't really be beating you, because you know that you can beat them. It's just stupid mistakes that you're making and they don't really know, you know, whatever. Anyways, if you follow the steps that I make, you'll be fine. Okay? So yeah, great. Alright, let's go over these 10 steps one more time just to make sure everyone has them completely down. Number 1, chunking and repetition. Now just because you completed one combo in training mode, it doesn't mean you're ready for online. Make sure you have it down so well you feel like you can read notifications and do the combo at the same time. And I'm actually kind of serious about that. 2, situational practice. If something keeps happening to you in the real game, practice it and simulate it in training mode so that it doesn't happen so much. 3, add people who are better, aka rivals. Just because someone's beating you up real bad like you stole something, it doesn't mean you shouldn't add them and walk away all salty. Well, you can still walk away salty, but you should at least add them so you can at least maybe get some tips or fight them later. 4, remember, you suck. You suck, I suck, we all suck. It's a part of sucking life. 5, learn the opponent's game metagame. It's about they know you know they know you know? 6, write shit down. You don't always have to write things down, but if you learn something really cool, you might want to write it down for later so you don't forget. 7, test on everyone. You might actually have learned a really sweet looking combo, but it doesn't mean too much when you need it really bad, but it doesn't work on someone because you haven't tested it. 8, comprehension. It doesn't mean anything to learn that cool combo, but not really know why it works so well or if it's a good combo to do. 9, use the internet, but be careful. The internet can be a really great tool, but it can also overwhelm people and make people not even want to practice because they see people doing so much and feel like, how can I do this? How can I do what they do? Don't feel like that. Get information and learn at one step at a time. 10, frustration. To be quite honest, real talk, no script, I actually got done playing top level player the other day. Last time I played Skullgirls, actually, I got hella pissed and I got just as salty. I was really just cut. I was upset. Anyways, it's ironic because I really shouldn't have been upset because this guy is a really good player and I should have lost anyways. But I was able to beat him quite a few times last time we played, and I was really on top of my game that day. But this day I was slipping really hard, so there were a couple reasons why I really shouldn't have been so salty. But anyways, I was salty nonetheless, and he started mocking me. And not just like, you know, friendly trash talk, but it was like, why you do that? Like, that's so dumb. And it really pissed me off. Like, I wanted to say some messed up things, but you know what? I just figured, yeah, he probably doesn't mean too much by it. I'm just gonna get off. It's time to get off anyway. I need to go to bed. Like, you just have to realize sometimes the more you play a game during the day, the more you're gonna suck. There's gonna be that point where you just can't do anything right and you just need to give it a break. It's fine. We all have been there. The thing that is something that we don't need to see is when people get upset and they start insulting people and they start rage quitting. Now that's what really messes with fighting games and the fighting community. We don't want that. You don't want to tarnish your reputation like that. Just, you know, gracefully leave and come back stronger. That's what you do. So that's what I plan to do, and I actually plan to get into training mode sometime soon after I do this video. But anyways, I just wanted to share that, let you guys know you're not alone. I am very salty too. I still need to brush some of the salt off. Well, I'm definitely not the best player. There are plenty of players better than me, but at the same time, I am quite able to hold my own and beat some of those players too, if I really feel like it. Alright, that's it, and I just really thank you guys for watching this again, and thank you so much, really guys. It took me a long time to make this video. 3 days straight work, and then of course a long time just sort of gathering up information and trying to put in a simple step form. It seems simple, but it's funny how complicated things get when you try to like break things down as simple as you can in the shortest amount of time you can. But anyways, again, thanks guys, and if you have any other ideas, suggestions, etc., make sure you tell them in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know, I really appreciate my subscribers. I do giveaways quite a bit, and my giveaways aren't like everyone else's. They actually give away stuff that people care about. So not banging on anybody else's giveaways, but still the fact still remains. But anyways, I just want to let you guys know, thanks again, and happy YouTubing, happy fighting, you know? Okay, alright guys, see ya.